Welcome to Episode 3 of Where in the World, Season 3, the detailed showcase of cities and locations that have been visited and seen in the Arcane Adventures campaign setting. For Season 3, we follow the story as it unfolds within the nation of Esmine, the largest and most southeastern country on the continent of Iaslan. As always, in each episode, we have a map on screen that details the general location of the place we are talking about during that episode. Let's jump right into episode 3 of season 3. Where in the world? Scarwood. A village situated on the edges of the Great Fields and the Inesi Woods. Scarwood is home to both a vibrant population and the Scarwood Outpost. Originally intended as a military relay base, a small settlement grew around the outpost and created the town we now see today. Home to businesses and trade alike, and with a perfect placement along a major trading route. Scarwood offers a little bit for everyone. Originally founded in 6217 by Commander Scartooth and his men, Scarwood, of where the village derives its name, was nothing but a few houses, a trading post, and a small outpost tower near a forest. In 6218, however, the people living there planted a tree known as the Scarwood Oak. The tree would later become the central plaza for the growing settlement. As the village grew, people began to worry about possible raids from the western countries that were at war with Esmine. So, a wooden wall was constructed that outlined the general octagonal layout of the city. In 7109, the Scarwood Oak had grown to a huge tree that offered shade to the central village. That was until a fire broke out, sourcing from what appeared to be an intentional attack. The Great Fire of Scarwood destroyed approximately one-fourth of the village, leading to the death of nearly 30 people and the injury of hundreds more. The Scarwood Oak also perished during this time. Following the tragic incident, the village began a long and slow recovery, marked by the replanting of the Scarwood Oak and expanding the perimeter using a thicker stone wall. Today, the village is now home to 11,000 citizens and is supervised by House Skul, notably the prominent Lady Skul after the passing of her husband, Lord Beckle Skul. Lady Skul and the house, along with the outpost of Scarwood, keep the village under good management and see to its prosperity and longevity. The Skul estate sits at the southern portion of the village, while the outpost lies at the northeastern edge. The second, albeit younger, Scarwood Oak remains strong and growing in the village center, perhaps giving rise to the city's endurance. Aside from the government, the many businesses of the village see a great deal of profit from traveling merchants. The Tomato, a restaurant and inn, makes a delicate and delicious tomato soup and roast. The Libitum, the prominent library of the village, contains a fair selection of nationally approved novels and records. Turtle Twins Tailor offers a wide selection of dresses and textile wares as a boutique, hairdresser, and clothing store. Jasper's Cove, the only magical emporium in the village, sells a modicum of magical items that are permitted for sale by Esmine regulations. And who could forget the famous Scarwood blacksmith, operated by the esteemed Melikaok, whose metalworking endeavors are known for miles and miles around. Melikaok, of course, is not as human as she appears. Unknown to likely any of the residents of Scarwood, Melikaok has a natural talent for blacksmithery, because she is far older than she appears. Melikaok moved into Scarwood in 7286, so none of the citizens would know that she is actually older than they are. Melikaok, or better known as the Ancient Steel Dragon, is the individual accredited with the creation of the Helm of Melikaok, at the command of Moradin, the Anvil and the World Forge, during the earliest years of the Central Wars. Of course, all of this information about Melachioc is vastly unknown to the public, as she is simply an excellent blacksmith in her craft to the people of Scarwood. The mildly western, or desert like architecture style of the village wasn't particularly intentional. However, following the Great Fire of Scarwood, the House Skul hired architect Lily Sand, who hails from Dustplane, to design the repairs and restoration of the village. In the design, touches of Lily's home and childhood, along with the general style of the houses, can be seen across the village of Scarwood, which perhaps better shows the cultural history and richness of the village. The major economy of Scarwood is, of course, trade, but a variety of exports, including wood, metal, wool, meats, and wheat, are generally what is sourced from Scarwood and the surrounding southern portion of the Great Fields. While no one would call the village particularly wealthy, the vast majority of the population isn't poor either. It's safe to assume and to say that the trade routes and exports of Scarwood bring a healthy deal of income and coin to the city. Scarwood Village lies along the Southern Imperial Trading Road, often referred to by the natives and locals as simply the South Road. The road heading out west leads to the small settlement of Corpost, which then splits to either the Sulke Keep to the north or the large city of Targerine to the south, which marks one end of the major trading line. The eastern road, branching out from Scarwood, leads to Falter Springs, connecting to the Royal Road that leads to the capital of Inasia, and following a continuation of the trading route that runs to Ashadina, and eventually to Grontor Port. Either path follows the trading lines, which is used heavily by merchants, travelers, and Esmine troops alike. We hope you've enjoyed this closer look at the village of Scarwood, and have found the details about it to your interest. Despite having a smaller population, the village stays busy throughout the year along a major trading route. That's all for this episode of Where in the World. We'll see you next time.